Today, we remember Jimmy Carter, the 39th President of the United States, who passed away at the age of 100 in his hometown of Plains, Georgia. Born on October 1, 1924, Carter entered the world just as the Roaring Twenties were in full swing. The world was buzzing with new technology. The first commercial radio broadcasts were reaching American homes, and the first Winter Olympics had just been held in Chamonix, France. After graduating from the U.S. Naval Academy in 1946, Carter served in the Navy during a pivotal era. World War II had just ended, the United Nations had been formed, and the Cold War was beginning to shape global politics. During this time, Carter worked in the Navy's nuclear submarine program, one of the most cutting-edge projects of the era. In 1953, Carter left the Navy to take over his family's peanut farm after his father's passing. This was the same year that DNA was first identified as the carrier of genetic information, a reminder of how rapidly the world was evolving. His political career began in the 1960s, during the height of the Civil Rights Movement. As Carter campaigned for the Georgia State Senate in 1962, John F. Kennedy was in the White House, and Martin Luther King Jr. was leading peaceful protests across the South. By 1976, Carter's journey to the presidency came at a time when America was recovering from the Watergate scandal. That same year, the Concorde made its first commercial flight. Apple Computer Company was founded by Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak, and NASA's Viking 1 successfully landed on Mars. Carter's presidency, from 1977 to 1981, was marked by major achievements and challenges. He brokered the historic Camp David Accords in 1978, bringing peace between Egypt and Israel. That same year, the world saw the first test tube baby born, signaling breakthroughs in science. Carter also negotiated the Panama Canal Treaties in 1977, as Star Wars dominated the box office and the Voyager spacecraft began its journey into interstellar space. However, his presidency faced difficulties. The Iran hostage crisis in 1979 gripped the nation, as millions at home tuned in to ABC's Nightline to watch daily coverage of the crisis. The Soviet Union's invasion of Afghanistan led to the U.S. boycotting the 1980 Moscow Olympics, a year when Pac-Man fever swept the globe and CNN launched the world's first 24-hour news network. Rising inflation and an energy crisis weighed heavily on his administration. Gas shortages led to long lines at pumps, while Carter urged Americans to conserve energy by turning down thermostats and wearing sweaters indoors. After losing the 1980 election to Ronald Reagan, Carter left office just as personal computers were beginning to enter homes, laying the foundation for the digital age. However, Carter's legacy stretches far beyond his presidency. After leaving office, he devoted his life to humanitarian work. In 1982, he and his wife Rosalind founded the Carter Center, focusing on human rights, election monitoring, and disease eradication. Around this time, Michael Jackson's Thriller was dominating airwaves, and the Space Shuttle program was launching into history. Carter became famously involved in building homes for Habitat for Humanity. As the Berlin Wall fell in 1989, symbolizing the end of the Cold War, Carter was hammering nails and continuing his efforts for global peace. He received the Nobel Peace Prize in 2002, the same year the euro became the official currency of the European Union, and the first iPod was introduced, reshaping how the world consumed music. Yet, Carter's life wasn't without controversy. Critics point to his handling of economic policy and foreign affairs, including the failed rescue attempt during the Iran hostage crisis and the U.S. boycott of the 1980 Moscow Olympics. Still, Carter's unique character stood out. He lived modestly, often flying commercial, and wrote over 30 books. In 2015, He even taught Sunday school after surviving cancer at 91. The same year, NASA's New Horizons spacecraft sent back the first close-up images of Pluto. At 100 years old, Carter was the longest-living U.S. president, a testament to a life defined by resilience, faith, and service. Today, we honor his contributions, his commitment to peace, and the enduring mark he leaves on the world.